man, you know, man, Brian, you know, man, sometimes people go out of town and drop their kids off at their friend house. You know what I mean? Sometimes people gotta leave, go on a date. They gotta pick up an extra shift at work, and they just got a real close friend. They just drop their baby off over there, and they just got all the faith in the world that friend gonna take care of that baby. That baby don't come back with bumps and bruises or nothing. They just coddling that baby as if it was theirs, boy. Bryan Broaddus. I tell you, it's good to have friends.
I didn't even check on my baby today because I knew it was in good hands.
Hey,
I knew it was in good hands. I don't know if everybody was totally confident, but I knew it was in good hands.
We ate 3 meals. You know, we got some time outside to get some sun. We did our homework and we went to bed on time, Brian. And then we came out late to film the Doing All Right live from my compound at the crib, and you from New Orleans, Brian. How you doing, sir?
Right. I'm doing well, man. I do the reference of a baby. I know you're talking about the draft show.
Yes, sir.
So I thank you so much for you and Kyle Yeomans and Beam, for Chris Beam for taking care of the baby while we're gone. I know we got another Thursday coming up, which I'm sure will be fun filled. I really love what you guys did there on that. So thank you for taking care of that. So appreciate that.
Eagleton doesn't have here's a word from your era. He doesn't have the gumption to let me do it by myself. You know what I'm saying? Just to let me just cut the cameras on and let me just talk. .com would never do that. But it is what I can say. That
only Nick Eatman's the only one right now doing a show by himself. But Derek will learn.
I just happen to be a YouTuber, bro. I just happen to be. I can do it with no phones. But hey, that
I know. Yeah, I know you can. I know you can.
Man, Brian, as I was sitting up here listening to some of the things that my audience was talking about today, on the draft show, I just wrote down some questions. These aren't exactly what they was talking about, but they're like follow-ups that I would have asked if they was there in person. I just wanted to run it by you, bro. Just kind of see what you think. I just wanted your thoughts, Brian. Here's one of them. If you ain't doing nothing else, man, Brian, we getting this new coaching staff, right?
Yeah.
I know you've heard a lot about these characters you asked around the league, the Gang of Seven, your Illuminati people that tapped in with you.
Yeah.
I know it's early, but do you have an idea of the type of players that we're looking for? And what made me write this question down, because I thought about it today. We heard Schottenheimer talking, and he wants to condense the formations, cut down on the splits and all that, and he wants to lean into motion. So that led me to believe, Brian. I say, man, what if we're not looking for a running back that runs in between the tackles like that? What if we're looking for more of an outside zone favored running back?
Yeah.
Or, Brian, and this may be overthinking it a little bit, but say we get to round 2, right? And Jack Besh is on the board. Jack Besh, right?
Besh.
He may not be a wide receiver that's doing jet sweepy type stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's more of the outside type guy. If we're trying to cut down splits and work outside, maybe Savion Williams is more of a guy that'll run jet sweep type stuff. So, Brian, it just made my gears turn. Based on what you've heard so far about all the coaching hires, right? Does any of that give you a hint of the type of players we're looking for?
No, and that's one of the projects that, honestly, and I like me being here in New Orleans at the Super Bowl, doing a lot of different things and, kind of talking to people, but we're talking about Dallas Maverick basketball and the Luka trade and all this stuff. So what I need to do is, and I'm going to have this opportunity, and I guarantee you when they get the staff completely together,
right,
they're going to bring these scouts in and they are going to focus on the type of player that they're looking at. And when you start to talk about the offensive line, if you go back and you look at, say, the Arizona Cardinals, the metrics of the running game and the plays that they call, it's pretty balanced when it's inside zone, outside zone, counters, the traps, the
powers,
fullback runs, the powers, design runs. It is broken down to 18%, 18%, 17%, 15%. You know, it's not massive of 68% inside zone, you know, and then the next number. It is very, very balanced in how they attack different, whether it's inside or outside, whether it's with the counters that they run, the leads, they call it leads, but it's pin and pulls.
Sure.
You know, it is very balanced with how the Cardinals ran the football. And I think that when you bring in the coach that you did, Clayton Adams, excuse me, you're going to think like, I hired this guy with the thought of like, I want this type of a running game. I want to be where the metrics show where if Philadelphia gets the wise idea to stop you running the ball one way, that you can go and run it another way. Or you can do something, you know, like, okay, there's stopped two things. Let's go to the third thing then and try and kind of figure that out. So I know that there's going to be a very soon when they get the staff completely together. I haven't heard anything. The offensive, I know there was some talks about, you know, some more positions that needed to be hired. And as soon as they get all those positions, like I said, then that's when I'm going to go to work and talk to my sources over there and say, okay, what was told to you in these meetings about what type of receiver are we looking for here? What type of offensive lineman are we looking for? What type of defensive tackles, 1 techniques, 3 techniques? But I can clearly, we're going to have some shows here in the future very soon where I can get all that and we could clearly answer that question.
Man, Bryan, I know we don't have the answer to this question, but we could just kind of think about it for a second. You know, one thing that we always talk about with the head coach is like how much say he has, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder, is Brian Schottenheimer, is he so different from Mike McCarthy and the type of guys that Mike likes? You know,
yes,
to where
I think so.
You know, to where we can have this conversation about oh well, you just drafted Tyler Guyton and Mozzie Smith.
Right.
Shotty may not like those guys. Like, do we treat this as an extension of Mike McCarthy, or do we treat it as if this a brand new dude coming up in there?
I totally, and that's, if I felt like that we were going to be the same old, I would answer the question, well, this is the type of guys you need.
Yeah.
But I do believe there is going to be a different dynamic to how this offense looks physically. And I think that's why, I know from my own personal experience of being on scouting staffs that have new coaching staffs, then when they get the whole staff together, then they bring them in and they say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I do 100% believe that you're going to see a different type of a player here for your Dallas Cowboys.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, man, you know, we was on the draft show today, man, and my guy DMV Cowboy called in. Shouts out to him. He does a lot of work on the socials and the YouTube there. Y'all
I've seen him. Does fine work. Sure does.
Man, you know, he called in and asked about trading back Bryan Broaddus. You know, I gave him my typical answer. Voch says this, we all would love to trade back and get some more picks.
Yeah.
That's what I said to him. But, Bryan, that made me think of a follow-up. That's our exercise today, right?
Right.
Bryan Broaddus. This player is on the board. You ain't gotta whip out your chart, your draft chart, right? But this player is on the board. I got 5 of them.
Okay.
And you can trade back and pick up a 2nd round pick by moving away from this player. Do you trade back, yes or no? The first player. Luther Burden is on the board. You could pick up a 2nd if you move back. Do you move away from Luther Burden? Wide receiver, Missouri.
I would absolutely consider it, yes.
Emeka Egbuka is on the board, Brian. You can get a second round pick. Do you trade away from Emeka Egbuka?
I'd absolutely consider it.
Ashton Genty's on the board, Brian. I know how you feel about running back, but this is a second. This running back in particular, I know how you feel about him. But that's a second round pick, Brian. It's a high second. Chicago done called. It's a high second, Brian. Man, do you trade back?
Don't think so.
Away from Ashton Genty to get that second?
Don't think so. No. I don't.
Man, Brian, the day before the draft, boy, Teteroa McMillan then robbed a Walmart.
Yep.
And he boy,
hope nobody got hurt. Hope nobody got hurt.
No, nobody got injured here. He robbed a Walmart with a stick, with a 2x4.
2x4. He went in there with a board. Okay.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And somebody said, "Man, I give you this and this second round pick if I can trade up and get McMillan." Brian, do you trade away from McMillan for that second round pick?
I don't think I would.
So far you're taking McMillan and Genty, but you're not taking Burden and Egbuka. What about our offensive tackle number 1, Josh Simmons? You moving away from him, Brian?
Probably not.
I'm trying to find the line, Brian.
If you found the line, let's say that, and you could ask about Carter, and I would say no.
You wouldn't move away from Carter, Hunter, Genty, Graham, McMillan,
Well,
Simmons.
No, I'm now okay. No, listen,
Mason Graham.
I would consider. Yeah.
So you got all those guys higher than Mason Graham.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. But see, there's very, very few guys. I think Genty, Simmons, McMillan are guys, and
Carter, Hunter, and Simmons.
I'm locked in on. I think my top 5 I'm pretty locked in on. When you start to get to 6, 7, 8 past that group, then I'm a little bit more open to potentially trading back.
I think I was in that same boat as you, Brian. I wouldn't trade away from Graham, but Hunter, Carter, Genty, Graham, McMillan, Simmons, and I think Burden was that last. I think Burden was that line.
Yeah, I mean that one caused me a little bit of pause.
Yeah,
because I have Burden over Egbuka.
Yeah,
and so I'm kind of feeling like that maybe. I was also thinking if I could trade back and I got wiped out with my first round receivers, I can maybe draft Golden from Texas.
100%. And I was saying this to Kyle. I'm like, man, it depends on. I'll once you get those first 6 guys out the way, I'll move back real far because I think this second round is so packed, or the second round grade type guys. I think. Look, let's just say like Jahdae Barron is there. If Jahdae Barron is there at 12, and let's just say Kenny Grant would be available at 20, I feel similarly about those kind of guys.
Yeah.
James Pierce is in that same group of guys for me. Jahad Campbell, the linebacker from Bama, Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame. So there's a lot of guys I would move away from.
I absolutely, I 100% agree with you. I could say, I think I've got 5 guys, 5 guys. If you really, Hunter, Carter, Genty, Simmons, McMillan, I don't think I'd move from. Everybody else is open for business on my board.
Here's the hard part about this thing that we're doing, this exercise that we're doing, Broaddus, is that I don't think anybody wants to move up for Burden. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's it. If they're going to move up, it'll
be McMillan, it'll be Simmons, it'll be Genty.
The 5 guys we named,
the big
likely.
5.
Yeah. Unless now we haven't included any quarterbacks here, and we might not. I don't know if you'll have a quarterback in your top 5. I don't think I will.
No.
I
probably have second round grades on him. Me most likely I have second round grades on him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, Bryan Broaddus. I think it's good to figure out what your line is. Chat, tell me what your line is. The player I would trade and the player that's right after that. Let us know what your line is so I can know, because y'all always talk about trading back to get an extra pick to pick that fourth up.
I'll tell you what, man, the second round pick is significant in this draft.
Sure.
And it's worth it to get my attention. But I've got 5 guys on that board that I'm going to go to battle with and draft, and I think can help me right off the jump. But everybody else, that second round pick could very well help me as well.
Now, Bryan, I feel like this was another question somebody asked me. It was like one of them first, second round, thirds, whatever. I think everybody's big 3 when we're looking to draft a certain unit is always wide receiver, defensive tackle, running back. We want to walk away with those 3.
Yeah.
Bryan, I'm trying to prepare people for the idea that the Cowboys may not walk away with a wide receiver, defensive tackle, or running back in round 1.
I agree.
We don't have a 4th round pick.
I agree. Yeah.
Me, you, and Woolchuck did this in passing, right?
Yep.
But I want to know what you prefer. Let's say we go offensive tackle in the first round. We go edge in the first round.
Okay.
Wide receiver, defensive tackle, and running back. What do you leave off of that list? Because I imagine, like, let's just say we don't even have day 3 picks, right? We just got a 1, a 2, and a 3. And we went offensive line in the first round. Wide receiver, defensive tackle, and running back. Which one do you leave off?
Probably leave off the tackle. Probably what I do.
Now, see, Bryan, you're saying that, but when me, you, and Woolchuck did the exercise, we drafted Harmon and we didn't draft it. So I'm curious, please.
I know, and I understand what you guys were doing there. But if you give me the opportunity, like I said, you give me the opportunity to take you give me the opportunity to take Graham. I would consider. I think. Let me say this. I kind of feel like you're right now, the way your team is configured, you're better equipped on the offensive line than you are at wide receiver and you're at defensive tackle.
Sure.
Sure. I mean, it came down to us taking Simmons or, I was interested in looking, okay, what other positions can we take? Graham there, somebody else there that we could take. But yeah, as a group, I personally, I would have taken Genty myself, but I understand by taking the offensive tackle what we just did. I also understand though that if you said what group has the most bodies that you could go and play with right now, and you'd be okay, I think it's offensive line.
Now, Bryan, let me ask you this, because I got into some fights today on social medias because I'm trying to get people ready that Josh Simmons may have to be the guy. And people are telling me, well, but Voch, CD needs a running mate. Running mate, we need a wide receiver.
No question.
He does.
Yeah.
Bryan, let me ask you this. Voch says this. And we just talking about guys on the roster right now.
Yeah.
Who was better last year, Jalen Tolbert or Tyler Guyton?
I think probably Tolbert would. I think Tolbert was better.
Tolbert's better. Tolbert had a much better year than Tyler Guyton. My only point for asking it, and I kind of brought this up in that conversation.
But we also in a situation where if Guyton wasn't penalized as much as he was, would we be thinking differently about him? We're not thinking about Guyton. It wasn't like he was like Green giving up sack after sack after sack after sack.
He's not Chaz Green, no. But here's my biggest concern about Guyton, Bryan. And I don't like to say it on the .com draft show because they live there, right? But, man, why couldn't you just take the job from damn Chuma Adoga, bro? What was happening for real?
That's fair. That's fair. And it might have been because you got a coach in Mike Solari that wasn't interested in trying to help that kid. You got a coaching staff that was trying to win games. They're like, listen, we keep playing with this kid and we're going to keep losing games and we're all going to get fired. They you know what? There got to a certain point when Dak Prescott went down. I don't think those coaches were interested in trying to get young guys ready to play.
Yeah.
It was like they went into survival mode. Okay, we've won games with Cooper Rush before. Maybe we could craft some, maybe we could do some offense, kind of pull this thing together.
Yeah.
No, they went into survival mode. And that's why I appreciate like listening to what people are telling me about Adams from Arizona, that he is willing to coach young guys and he's willing to coach veteran guys.
Yeah.
That made me feel better. If I was Jerry Jones, I would have walked into Mike Solari's office and said, listen, hey, I hate to say this to you guys, but we're playing Guyton from now on. Jerry was in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Because if you demand your coaching staff to play guys, then you're basically telling them they're fired. Mm-hmm. And what reason do they have to fight?
Sure.
So Jerry had to just play this thing out and like, listen, I'm going to get rid of McCarthy at the end of the year, and I'm going to get rid of all these coaches, and I'm just going to play this thing out. Where most general managers would have walked in there and said, listen, you play that rookie at left tackle and you get him experience. And they'll fight you. They'll step back and say, fine, we'll play him. We're going to lose every damn game. And that's when the general manager says, well, if we lose every damn game, that's on me. That ain't on you guys. And they'll say, well, listen, we're going to get fired. And I would say there's a possibility of that. That's a no-win right there. That kid was in a no-win situation. Was he great? No. Should he have been playing? Yeah, he should have. He absolutely should have been playing. So and they didn't do it.
So as currently put together and constructed, this offensive line that you have right now, 60, 73, 56, I assume Hoffman's your right guard. And,
right now he is, yeah.
And Terrence Steele. Let me ask you this. Yeah. Brian says this. Is that an offensive line that you want to play or that you feel like you can play 17 games with next year?
Well, it's, you know what, I would have felt better if 60 would have made some improvement at left tackle. Mm-hmm. And do I really like Brock Hoffman for 17 games at right guard? Mm-hmm. Absolutely not.
Sure.
But Steele got better. Your left guard is a Pro Bowl player, and I think your center for not playing center forever, gave you some stuff. Do I worry about the left tackle? Yes. Do I worry about the right guard? Yes. I absolutely do. That's why I said, to me, when our little group, I'm not always going to win with you and Zach and others when we do mock draft stuff. Mm-hmm. I know when to fight my fight. Yeah. I was not, it sounds great with him playing left tackle. Yeah. It sounds great with Simmons playing left tackle.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you tell me Simmons is going to play left tackle, plug and play, and now Guyton's going to go compete with Steele at right, I just spent the 29th pick of the first round on a swing tackle is what I did.
It is
when you start to talk, when you talked about Guyton.
Yeah. And I'm bringing this up because me and my colleagues been talking about this all day, Bryan Broaddus. And, I even saw, and look, this ain't me disrespecting none of my colleagues. We just talking. We just having a discussion.
Yeah.
I saw some of them bringing up Austin Richards. I'm like, man, I don't even think Austin Richards part of this equation for real. I think he'll be like a competing swing dude, or like a left side player or something like that. But if I'm talking about starting, I don't even want to think about I don't even want to think about Austin or anything like that. Man, I had another question for you. It was about the offensive line.
Do you understand where I'm going about the offense? I would love to have Simmons. I would absolutely love to have Simmons. But I feel like, though, that I don't have any defensive tackles.
Sure.
I don't. Yeah. I don't. And, if you told me I had a chance to get a defensive tackle in the first round, and again, that goes back to damn Mozzie Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes back, but you're likely going to lose. You're going to lose several of your defensive tackles. You got to do something there.
I think Simmons is really good. And I think when people talk about the amount of picks and equity that we've put in the offensive lineman, I think you have to put an asterisk on that because Tyler Guyton was tackle number 9 on my board. It just is what
you were right about him. You were right. If they would have listened to you, you were right. You were right about it, where the kid, the learning curve was too steep for him.
I think he'll be fine at some point, but I just don't like this learning on the job stuff, Brian. I think you don't have a lot of opportunities to draft a tackle 1, and that's what Simmons is. But please,
no. I was just going to say, to me, I would sacrifice with the quarterback being down and Cooper Rush playing quarterback and all that.
Play him.
The season's already effed.
Play him.
I mean, go ahead and play him.
Yeah.
Play him and get the experience and see if he gets better like like Steele did at right tackle.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
But now it's like, well, we just drafted and he, on a lot of boards, old Guyton's a second round player, and you know what? He played like he probably played like a fourth round player.
People don't want to hear this, but I think Terrence plays much better than Guyton. I just think Terrence played against tougher opponents. Like when we were breaking down film to get ready for the game, Terrence had to play the J.J. Watts and guys like that. And
Absolutely.
All those guys and the Judons and them, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, look, I don't want to just keep somebody said I was kicking Tyler Guyton. I ain't kicking Tyler Guyton.
But you were right about him. You had concerns, and you know what? And you're just reminding us that you had concerns. And you know what? Hey, you're absolutely right. It's not take a victory lap and pat yourself on the back and cheer and all that. But no, you said, hey, listen, there are risks. And you know what? A lot of us in that room didn't listen to you. We didn't listen. And we drafted the kid anyway. And now we're to the point where you're arguing with me in a good way. Like, listen, Bryan, if you just damn listen to me, maybe we wouldn't have to worry about taking Simmons here. Maybe we wouldn't have to be taking a left tackle here. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I totally it's not a victory lap or anything like that. You're just saying, listen, let's not make the same damn mistake we made last year with this thing.
I'm actually rooting for him. Last one, Bryan. I'm gonna let you get to your Mardi Gras party, whatever the hell you're gonna do. Exciting later on. Go get some beignets or something. In the round 2, man, Bryan, I know we just talked about taking this offensive line round 2, but man,
can I go back real quick, real quick?
Please,
tell me what you did. How did you answer the question that you just asked me?
About the offensive line.
Well, about like the positions that were left.
Okay. Wide receiver, defense. I think wide receiver and D tackle. I would much rather have those guys. So like if I got,
but you couldn't. Yeah, I'm with you on this. I understand that. But if you can't take those guys, the other positions,
running back. Yeah, I will go without. Man, we found Rico Dowdle. You know what I'm saying? We found him, and we stumbled upon him, and he was a 1,000-yard rusher, not even getting full-time carries like that. I think the easiest thing to kind of replicate is running back in that situation. Yeah. I think if you have an opportunity to get a top tier receiver, I think you have a chance to do it.
I totally agree.
In one of those rounds, and I think this class for the 1 techs and 3 just tackles in general, I think this is a fantastic class to try to do it. And if I just gotta go to free agency and go sign Royce, Royce again, Freeman or whatever, I think I can live with Royce Freeman, Rico Dowdle, and somebody else, you know what I'm saying? You can live with those.
Gotcha.
Especially if your offensive line and your play caller and your offensive line coach is different. Your running guy.
You've got to get a running back in this draft, though. Sure, and my hope, it's the name of Genty, Johnson, Hampton, or Henderson.
Bryan, off the jump. I'm actually terrified that we pass on, or Genty. Let's say Genty's gone, right? Yeah. And Caleb Johnson goes like 28 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And then Hampton goes like 41 right before us.
Oh no, this Zach Wolchuk talked about this because we had a big board report today on 105.3 The Fan, and Dawson ran through a scenario, and Wolchuk astutely pointed out, guys, I am worried that if you pass on Genty, all the running backs are going to be gone that you like.
Sure.
All of them are going to be gone.
Yeah.
And he might, the scenario you're painting, by the time this thing gets to 40, 44, it could be a lot different at that position. It surely could.
If you pass on Genty, Johnson goes 20 something, and you find yourself getting wiped out, do you trade up to get Hampton, or do you just let the picks fall to you?
Man, I've already gone. My 4's already gone. What else do I have to give up? Do I have to give up one of those 5s? What do I mean, you're
moving up. Moving up in the sec, you might have to get rid of your 3.
I know, and I'm not really interested in doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you told me that it was, say, Burden and Johnson, I might do it.
Cool class,
those are two really good players.
Yeah. Bryan, one last one, man. Say we do go offensive line in the first round.
Yeah.
People hate me for saying it, but whatever. What if we get to the second round and the best player on your board, because you don't win to dress nothing, and the best player on your board is a corner, or I say a guard here. So how about this? Let's say we in the first round we take Mike Green from Marshall, right?
Okay,
the edge guy.
Mm-hmm.
And round 2, the best player on the board for you is a corner or a guard. Do you fold and take your best guy, or do you say we have to go running back here and we just go get running back?
So we did not take a running back at 12, then is what you're telling me, right?
Took an edge, Mike Green from Marshall.
We took Mike Green from, okay, I'm working that out.
And we get to the second round.
I'm thinking, okay, second round.
And Benjamin Morrison is there.
Okay, ooh, that's a first round pick on my board.
Siobhan Ravel is there because his knee was hurting, so he fell into the second round.
That's a first round player on my board too.
What do you do there, man? I know we need running back, but damn, that's Siobhan Ravel right there.
It's hard. It would be really, really, really hard for me to walk away at 44 knowing that I had first round players on that board. Mm. And especially if those names were Ravel, Barron, Morrison, something like that. That would be really, really hard for me to walk away from that. But if the way my stack is going to be, all those corners are going to be higher than Johnson, Hampton, and Henderson on my board. Yeah.
Bryan, I'm trying to get people to be ready to be uncomfortable, man. The Cowboys never draft the way we want them to draft. We do this every year. We need this, and this, and the Cowboys say, "Hold my beer, I'm doing something else, man." Every time.
Yeah. Yep.
They do it.
It's you put me in some tough spots tonight, but like I say, I'm going to trust my stack. I'm going to trust my board, and like I say, we'll get all the medical information because I've got the 15 guys I got on that first round. 3 of them have had surgeries.
Yeah.
Morrison, Notre Dame with the hip. Ravel early in the season with a knee, and then Simmons with his knee in the Oregon game about 6 weeks into the season.
Yeah,
man. So if I get clean bill of health from those guys, then I'm putting full send on these. Those are the type of guys I think can help your football team.
Bryan, I'm taking that offensive tackle, I'm taking that corner, and I'm taking that edge, and I'm gonna be mad as hell we can't throw the football, but it is what it is. I got Siobhan Ravel.
Yeah. That you know what the problem is though, Voch?
What's that?
Is that every position you just named helped this football team, but you're right. You can't. You can't. There's gonna be things like there's things that you're honestly going to not be able to get to. There's just too much. There's too much. And be honest with you, we get to free agency. If all those guys start to walk and you don't re-sign, I mean, I hope the Cowboys' new strategy, honestly, is we're not interested in completely re-signing our own. We're going to go out and get somebody from the Ravens and the Seahawks or somebody from the Titans or something like that. Yeah. We're going to go get somebody else. We're going to give money to go get somebody from another team. We're not, because where they've hurt themselves is some of these second contracts have hurt them, and I want to see them do something a little different there if they could.
Bryan Broaddus, I appreciate you for playing along here, sir. I know everybody else not even working. We the only ones up here working, man, but that's what we do here, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I tell you what, at Fox Radio over there, the Odd Couple is going at it right now. And
I was on the show before.
Yeah, the Odd Couple. They are loud and they are taking over this convention center right now.
Huh.
So
that's all.
They're doing good work, man. I appreciate the discussion they're having over there today.
Ladies and gentlemen, anything that me and Bryan discussed today, we would love to know y'all's input on it. Y'all leave it in the comment section, and me and Bryan will be reading that in the morning. We're going to be reading it and responding to a lot of it. So appreciate y'all for engaging with us. VOCHLONB aired on every single platform. We try and get paid on Twitter, please. And y'all go watch my episode of the draft show today. I was babysitting Bryan's baby and all that. But BRY,
thank you, bro. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. BRY and Broaddus. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with him also. And y'all hold it down. We'll catch y'all next time. Crown.